Well, here it is, April 21st on a Saturday. Feeling like spring here at the Northwoods cabin. Supposed to be up close to 60 today. You can see a lot of the snow is starting to melt off, although there's still a lot here. See that pile over here that sloughed off from the roof. And if we pan around here, you see in the woods where the sun is hit, we're starting to lose a lot of the snow. Here in the power line, but there's still pieces of quite a bit of snow. I got up here yesterday in the afternoon. There was still a bunch of snow on the roof here, which most of it sloughed off. There's still some left on the ridge joint there. There's some on the other side. It's dripping pretty good, dripping off the other sheds and that. I may do a little grinding on this wall here. This is the last wall to stain. I was worried when I got the new catalog with the stain in it. They didn't have the color anymore in stock that I used. The darker brown here called this historic brown. But when I called the company, they still had, I think, 6 gallons left in stock from last year. So I picked up 3 gallons, which is way more than I need for this one wall. But I might maybe do the woodshed too and stuff. But I guess it's good to have some extra. And then I think there's a couple spots I want to do a second coat on the log part, not the addition part here. So anyway, I got a few little projects I want to work on first. And then, like I say, I may start to do some of that staining. I have to take down the old skis of my dad's that are screwed up in the gable end there, and the deer antlers that were my dad's. I think I'll take down the Gnome Home sign, and I don't think I'll reinstall that because I guess it's maybe beyond the Gnome Home, but we'll see. One of the things I did yesterday when I got up here was I had a new battery and installed it into the four-wheeler. The old one was still the original from 2010, I guess. And last fall it was starting to lose its charge and that. I mean, I could charge it, get it going again, but you don't want that necessarily if you're riding around someplace or whatever. So I guess it was time to invest in a new one. And then the other thing I did was put away the plow blade off from the four-wheeler, and then also stored the snowblower, which I only used a couple times but was very happy with it. And consequently, when it's warmed up now, I was able to drive in to the driveway with no difficulty, whereas other people who didn't have their driveways cleared probably still be a foot or two of snow, depending on how the sun was hitting. But you can see the driveway here and how it was not an issue at all for getting in here. Although when you look on the side, there's still, a foot or two of snow in some spots. But worked out fine. So I think that's a wise investment. Well, one thing with this shed is I don't have any power run to it, at least at this point. So and when it gets dark or towards evening or whatever, I mean, you either need a flashlight or headlamp or something, which is okay. But I came across a product in Twin Cities called the Nebo Eye. And what it is, a couple of lights here, 440 lumens on high. And it's also got a magnetic base. So what I'm going to try and do is see if they will stick to these outlet plates. So I'll screw a couple of those on a couple of these studs and then be able to attach those, and you can take them off and move them around and whatever. So we're going to give that a try and see how it works. So I'll put these plates in a stud here. And then the base of this eye has a magnet in it. Well, that just goes on there, and then this is magnetized. So your light, and then you can move it up, down, around. If you need to, you can take it off then and move it around inside the building. So I'll be able to get some light on the bench area here or whatever. That's the full power. That's the half power. And off. And I believe it has 2 AA batteries inside, which are replaceable. So that should be kind of a quick alternative to give a little bit of light anyway when we're here in the shed and later in the day or in the evening. Well, I spent part of the afternoon working here in the shed, getting it a little more organized here. I'll show you what I did, but put a little hanger for a couple of the chairs so they're up and out of the way. Hung up this piece of pegboard. Now I got to get the pegboard hooks. I got some back in town, so I'll bring those up. So I'll be able to put a few things there, just, you know, kind of out of the way that hangs and stuff. You see a hook there on the wall and another one over there. I intend on buying a new extension ladder, probably either a 20 or 24 foot, 20 I think, and hopefully I'll be able to fit that in here because I don't want to necessarily leave that outside. So I got that. I put a couple hooks up on the side there to put my Honda brush trimmer up and out of the way so you don't get hit by a blade, anything like that. Put a hook there and put the mountain bike up so it's kind of off to the side and that, giving me a little more room in the middle. There was the top shelf there originally, and then today I put a second shelf in right below that to pick up a few things. I had these pieces of slat board from the business. When I closed the store, I tore one of the tables. Actually, I gave it to my friend and for him, for his shop and that. So had that piece of slat board, hung that there. Put a second shelf underneath kind of the workbench here. And so I'll be able to put chainsaw oil, other gas and things there up off the floor a little bit and still not have it affect, the workbench area. And then I had another piece of slat board which goes in there. So again, when I get the hooks, I'll be able to hang a few things there that might be handy on occasion to grab quick. So got the upper loft areas organized a little bit more. Some stuff off the floor here and that. So it's looking pretty good in here. Took a while just to get things organized and figure out where I wanted to put stuff, but yeah, I think I have it in pretty good shape right now. So it was a beautiful day out, and still is, about 5 o'clock now, but man, we're losing snow with this warm weather, which is just fine. Drying out the road a little bit, so I'll put the four-wheeler in the shed here for the night. And tomorrow I'll work on, probably work on the cabin. I gotta, like I say, prep that last wall and got a couple things to do inside. But when it's so nice out, you want to take advantage of it and be outside. Well, it's Sunday morning, April 22nd. I'm going to start working on this wall here. I'll start on the lower side. You can see the one log that I've just making sure how it's going to clean up. Looks like it'll clean up pretty nice. So I'll start working on the lower level. It's always more taxing, I guess, to spend all that time up on the ladders, but obviously I got to get up there. So anyway, I'll start on the low end and be able to work off from the front porch here for a while. Alright, it's about 5 o'clock in the evening. So I think I've been at this maybe 6 hours to do this job of cleaning up the wall. You can see the couple of tracks where the skis were. That obviously didn't get faded out quite as much. But it's a big job. Got her done. Now the next thing will be to caulk those joints, especially up in the top where they separated a little, and get some of that spacer in there, and then the caulk. And once that sets up, then I'll be able to stain this wall. I'm going to put 2 coats on here. I know I have one area yet to run the brush on, which is this corner, but it was still snowy and dripping here, so we'll get that another time. It won't be too difficult. It won't take very long. So I'm glad that job's done. Well, I'm back on Saturday, April 28th. You see right now there's not much snow left in the woods there. There is some here, which again was this huge pile of snow that came off the roof over the winter. And that, I don't think there's any, no, there's nothing left on the roof. And that, yesterday when I came up on Friday, it was snowing. There was a couple inches of snow on the ground. But by afternoon, it had warmed up enough and most of it melted by later in the afternoon. So that's what usually happens this time of year. You get a little bit of snow, but it's gone the same day or the next day and that. So it's supposed to be nice today and tomorrow for sure. So I'm working on this last wall. And I started putting some of that backing. You can see that black backing on some of the joints, and then what I want to do is frame out this door. And I didn't have the camera set up when I used my chainsaw alongside a 2x4 and try to cut a straight angle or straight cut. So I'll be able to put that 1x in there and anchor it down. I want to do that before I caulk so I can get some good silicone in along that door. So that's what I'm working on right now, and then I'll do this side. I'll set up the camera when I cut this wall. So anyway, my goal today is to get this door framed in, get the backing every place I need it, maybe get some caulking done. I will try anyway, because then it could set up overnight, and then hopefully tomorrow I can get this wall stained. Well, the temperature's supposed to be quite warm. So we'll see if my plans work out the way I want them to. So anyway, you get the idea. I'm just going to keep working on that. I don't need to videotape the whole thing for you, but I'll keep working on this side, and then when I switch over, I'll put the camera there and show you how I rigged up the saw and that to cut in these grooves here to be able to chisel out the round wood. So. Okay, so that's cut out, and now we just start chipping it out just like you saw on the other side. So I'm not going to videotape that because you've already seen how that goes. That's just a lot of grunt work to do now to get that cleaned up, but we're getting there. Just to show you a little something here, I'm going to use my different mallet and chisel. Actually, I built this mallet in 1979, and I used this mallet and chisel when I built this original log cabin in 1979 and 80. So it's had some use. I figured I'll go with a little bit heavier chisel this time. Maybe it'll go a little faster. So anyway, I just wanted to show you this piece of equipment. I leave it inside on my bookshelf, just kind of I guess a reminder of all that hard work back in those days. So well, I finished up putting the trim around now. Got it all caulked and everything, so it should be pretty tight seal on there. Took a lot longer than I anticipated to do this job, but I think it'll be a nice way to trim it off. The top's a little bit uneven with that 2x4 we have in there and stuff, but man, it was hard getting that door in. I had my friend Joe over. You may have seen that on one of his videos and that, but he helped me. And of course, when you have a log building, nothing's even or square or anything, so ended up we got it in there, we got it level, but you know, it looks a little bit off if you compare it to a stick built house and everything square and level and that. But anyway, we got that done, and so the next job will be to work on some of the caulking and that on this end, and try and get that done yet today if possible. It's Sunday afternoon. I got all the caulking done this morning. and it's absolutely gorgeous day, warm. There's a pretty good breeze, so stuff is drying out pretty fast. You can see I started staining about as high up as I can reach, so I'm gonna work on the other side of the door here too this morning and or early afternoon, and then get up on the top on the ladder once the bucket of stain is down, so I'm not carrying up all that extra weight. Well, it's Friday afternoon on May the 4th. I got up here yesterday later in the afternoon and started staining on the cabin, the second coat. And now, like I say, it's Friday afternoon, about 2 o'clock, and I'm done. I got a second coat on everything, put a little foam up in that, pulled some old insulation, put some foam in there. Like I say, got the second coat on everything, including even the ridge pole. I capped off a little opening right in the peak where I think the squirrels had gotten in to nest last fall. So I blocked that off and put some foam behind the blocking and that, so hopefully that'll take care of that. So this is the front, obviously. Now I'm gonna paint that trim, the green, to match the roof like I mentioned. I may actually get some green treated plywood and screw over these floorboards that have been here since I built the cabin, and that they're still pretty solid, although some of the nails have gotten loose, over the years, and that's why I thought, maybe just some green treated plywood over that, and then I could always stain or paint that at another time. So this wall is all done. Again, I'll paint the trim around that window from the rustic red to the green. And then the lakeside is all done as well. So I started this job last summer. I guess it was, I think it was in the summer, July, and that, and took me until now. Well, I had the one wall left to finish. So, get that out of the way early. Next weekend's fishing opener, so hopefully I can come up with my little boat and actually do some recreating. Anyway, that's it on the staining of the cabin.